you're the juice feasting guy.
I'm the juice feasting guy. I'm one of the juice feasting guys. I'm one of the representatives of this thing out there, this entity that we call juice feasting. And the person who discovered it was my good friend and colleague John Rose in Houston, Texas. We've been doing it for about 10 years when I came onto the scene. And John was calling it juice fasting. Sometimes he'd use juice feasting as a descriptive term. And had coached several thousand people at the point that he came in contact with me. And I was so sick, I was willing to hear anything. And he said, you need to eat raw foods and you need to go on this juice fast. And I said, okay, tell me what to do. And he said, you need to get a little press-style juicer, and you need to drink about 1 gallon of juice a day or more. I said, whoa. I said, I've juice fasted in the past, but that was like a couple of quarts of juice, like max. I mean, I didn't really have any amounts. And so I started drinking 1 gallon of juice every day. And in 3 months, all my symptoms were gone. I had lost 50 pounds. I felt amazing. And I said, I've got to teach other people about this. It took me about 2.5 years for it finally to dawn on me that we really needed to call this juice feasting. And the reason that I call it juice feasting is because it's really not a fast. It's a cleanse, but you're giving your body every calorie that it requires. You're getting all the fat, all the protein, all the carbohydrate that you need, all the phytonutrients, probiotics, and so forth. All the nutritional elements that we want out of our food, you're getting from a juice feast, with the exception of fiber. And you're not getting fiber for a very good reason. And it's because you actually turn your body on to house clean, just as if you were on a water fast or a juice fast. When your body doesn't have to work very hard to access the nutrition, it will start to clean house. And when there's no fiber, or very little fiber going through your intestinal tract and your colon, all this other matter that's been in there for a long time, that's caked onto the sides, start to fall away. Stuff that's in the little diverticula that people may have in their colons starts to come back out and leave the body. And because the colon and the intestinal tract empty out, the body realizes that, oh hey, I can move more stuff down there. And so it will do that. 4 goals of juice feasting, or any cleanse. We want to cleanse, we want to rebuild, rehydrate, and alkalize. We want to cleanse out the 65,000 toxins that are in the environment that humans have created. We want to get all that stuff out of there. We want to cleanse out all of the toxic fats that are in our system. We want to cleanse our cells of any other heavy metals that are there. We want to rebuild. Rebuilding, what does that mean? You've got cells that are damaged from the diet that you've been eating, the fact that you've been dehydrated, which we'll get to in a second. You want to rebuild all those. You want your body to shed the old cells and rebuild new ones. And you want to save the cells that are kind of healthy, but they just need to be rebuilt a little bit. So you've got to rebuild in that way. Also, you want to rebuild your musculature. A lot of us have been sitting at the computer for a long time, you know how that is. And so you want to feel good enough that you'll actually get out and exercise and start to build some muscle. Because the more muscle you have, the lower your blood sugar is going to be, and that's really good. Because about 1/3 of Americans right now are pre-diabetic, and they don't even know it. That's about 100 million people right now. So strong body, an active body, really good. So cleanse, rebuild, rehydrate. We're about 90% water when we're born. We're closer to 50 or 60% water when we die. And being dehydrated basically compromises every function in the body. The ones that you're going to see, immune system function, mental function. Your joints are also going to dry up though, and they're going to start to hurt. So a lot of people come to us to do juice feasting and they just have osteoarthritis or rheumatoid arthritis. That gets fixed. Just like that. Okay? They've got problems, in big joints it even works. They've got acid reflux disease. That gets fixed actually just by rehydrating yourself. That's what I had. I was just dehydrated basically. And I had low alkaline minerals. Okay? So cleanse, rebuild, rehydrate, and alkalize. That's the last one. Most important alkalinizing mineral, organic sodium. Where's a good place to get that? Bok choy or celery. 2 really good sources of it. We suggest on a juice feast you get in about a head of celery every day. Okay? And that will resupply organic sodium. And the reason it's so important is because organic sodium lines the lining of the stomach to keep the stomach acid in your stomach from burning a hole right through the wall of your stomach. And the other thing that it does is it serves to alkalinize the acid mixture coming from the stomach down in the small intestine. And this may sound boring, but it's really important. Because when that acid mixture comes down the small intestine, if your body cannot alkalinize it, if it doesn't have enough organic sodium, then it will line the intestinal wall temporarily with mucus. And what that also means is you don't absorb the nutrition from your food. And this happens for a lot of people at the lower parts of the spectrum of diet. They've got a lot of mucus lining the small intestine, and they're not accessing the nutrition they get. How much nutrition comes to the wall of the small intestine? According to Dr. Richard Anderson, who wrote Cleanse and Purify Thyself, about 90% of your nutrition comes through the wall of the small intestine. And it has to be alkaline first, because your blood is alkaline. Our blood is alkaline. Our saliva is alkaline, our urine's alkaline. So juice feasting, a gallon of fresh pressed juice that you make every day. And why is this so important? Why has this come along now? Because so many of us are sick. And look at the economy. I mean, you're paying $4.50 a gallon for gas. Food is going up just as high in price because food is made more from oil than soil, according to Jeremy Rifkin. So your food costs are going up. And we're being really pressed. 30% of Americans right now, as of today at least, owe more on their homes than they could sell their homes for. And they've been paying on their homes already. So you can't even move without losing money. College tuition is through the roof. People can't afford to travel as much. We can't afford as much for food or anything. So we've got to find something that we can do that doesn't cost a lot, that can still derive huge benefits. Oh, and the one I didn't mention, healthcare costs, at least in the United States. If you're fortunate enough to live in a country where your healthcare is provided because of a socialized system, that's great. But if you live in the United States, you're afraid that if you quit the job that you don't like, you won't have the health insurance to pay for the ill health that you have. And you won't have the money to pay to go to any kind of one of the great centers out there to actually take care of your health. Western society needs something that everybody can access, no matter where they are on the economic spectrum, so that they can heal themselves significantly. How long are people drinking a gallon of juice a day? People who've never fasted or cleansed before are going 60 and 90 days. And you can do it for a week if you want to. But to totally heal the health challenges that we have takes somewhere between 30, 60, 90 days. And I've had students go out as far as 120 days on nothing but juice and superfoods. And all this is explained on juicefeasting.com.